Patience with me.
Hi, everybody.
And we have for you last minute pickup of Division C West amateur opponents versus Clouded Minds. Is there more to that name? Clouded Minds. Oh, that was it. Alright. Making sure. Don't want to accidentally go over there. I did double check my audio this time to make sure everything is up and running, so that is good to go this time. So we have Amateur or Clouded Minds won the coin toss. They opted to have first hero pick, giving the first map pick over to amateur opponents. The map bans were Battlefield of Eternity and Dragonshire by amateur opponents. Clouded Minds banned out Infernal Shrines and Towers of Doom. And amateur opponents decided to take us to the one and only map of Brax's Holdout. What do you think of this map?
It's a very off-lane focused map. I think that winning if the team wants to prioritize winning the objective, because they have to hold on to the point. There are a lot of sustained fights, so holding on, making sure that the healing is there, the damage is there to push the other team off the point is important. But we'll see what they have in their pockets.
Mm-hmm. So this is the map where we're wave clear, super important. Scaling is not as important as it's still considered a pretty snowbally map. It's not statistically the most snowbally map. That would go over to Battlefield of Eternity. But it is still considered one of the more snowbally maps. And it is possible to win pretty early. We'll tell the teams we're ready. But it is possible to win pretty early. But sometimes it opens up some pretty unique picks. Like, for instance, Cho'Gall. How do you feel about Cho'Gall there, Patience?
We played them a couple of times maybe, and practiced it a little bit. It seems to be strong and definitely could be worked into the team composition in the current patch. But I haven't seen them competitively lately in most matches that I've watched. So it'll be interesting and a pleasant surprise if we get to see them tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cho'Gall comes and goes sometimes, but right now, trying to figure out what's going on here. They have someone who's coming in and out of the lobby, like they can't quite connect completely.
The game is broken sometimes.
Yeah. But
While we're
anyways,
waiting for that, it looks like Braxis Holdout has not been played a lot on Division C West. Only 3 games. And it looks like amateur opponents have been part of Braxis Holdout all 3 times. And it looks like the first objective win rate is not statistically significant because there were only 3 games, 66.7%.
hello Lily, we see you in the chat. Also, just to get our coverage, because people always complain about it later on. This is the juice tonight. It's the same as last cast on Sunday. There you go. Just covering all our bases here. As it turns out, we're gonna have a couple minutes, as one person's having issues joining the lobby correctly. But I hope you're all having a good night. We can go back to just talking about Braxis. Offlane pick wise, what do you like here? I mean, there's obviously like Rexar. But what else do you like in the offlane here?
I've seen Deathwing to be successful here as well, because you cannot CC the big dragon of the point. Yet, as you mentioned, Rexar is very popular. I've seen Maltho to be quite successful here as well, and definitely Artanis too. Many and Imperius, as we've seen Provius play that in the offlane as well. So a lot of choices to see. We'll see what these teams prioritize for their offlanes, and the one-on-one matchup would be quite interesting.
Mm-hmm. The one thing that I think a lot of people might be sleeping on, the more I look at it, the more I'm really starting to like it, has been offlane stitches actually on this map. Level 1, you can either pick up globes, you can pick up the amped healing, which would also give you kills healing based on minion deaths, but also just amplifies your own self-healing. Attack speed at 4. I couldn't think of the number, but I could hold it up on my fingers. attack speed at 4, and then the self-sustained auto attacks at 7. And there's a lot of heroes who can't quite kill Stitches in that scenario, especially because he still has his burst 20% healing on his E. Then you add in like, oh, well, I can't kill you either situations, and just gorge them. And then cap the point while they're gorged. And then, as long as they can't kill you, you can just stay on the point forever. And then it's yours, eventually, you know?
And I believe that they might be able to go on the glove caster as well, because it's an easy map to also pick up gloves and then stack them.
Yeah, and if you pick up globes, that gives you more max health. More max health means that your percentage healing at 7 and then 13, if you go for the heal hook, which if you're offlaning on like Braxis, I think the heal hook's good. If you're offlaning elsewhere, maybe looking for a fishing hook for more of the pickoffs, but in Braxis you're not going to be looking for that pickoff as much. So the healing hook just gives you more healing, and then you just can't die, and then at 16 you have the minus damage done, or you could pick up for your E, and then at 20 you could pick up double charges of E, and yours is an unstoppable force of nature, who just, well, more of an unmovable wall than anything else. The last person is in here. They're reconfirming that everyone's ready, that no one took a bathroom break while waiting. And then we'll get this game started for all you lovely people at home. Or away. I don't know. Maybe you're at a hotel tonight on a fishing trip. Who knows? You could be anywhere. You know? Maybe you're on the International Space Station watching this cast for some reason. We appreciate you tuning in.
Yeah, that would be sweet if they did that.
That'd be awesome. If you're on the International Space Station tonight, just give yourself a shout out in chat. We'd love to know that. You'd automatically win the farthest reaching section of our cast. We're ready. They're still waiting. Now the other team is just kind of not paying attention to chat at the second. But let's talk about the next. There we go. All right, everyone's ready now. We'll get draft started. We don't need to sit here and talk about draft anymore. We're gonna find out what these teams want, which is really all that matters in the end. First pick, of course, going over to Clouded Minds here. Their most played hero overall has been Lucio so far. How do you feel about Lucio on this map, since you're a support main?
I actually like him. He also gives a way to quickly rotate up and down, as well as provide a lot of sustained healing. It might be a little challenging earlier in the game, but post 16 with that percentage healing, I mean, he's very good.
Alright, we see Tassar and Johanna banned out, both solid picks. Both actually very good wave clear oriented heroes as well. So not overly surprised to see that amateur opponents have played Tassadar once so far. But he's still relatively new for NGS. Obviously, due to his reworks, he was banned out there for a little while. Now we're gonna see the Ana banned out against amateur opponents. They have.
I think that's a target ban against Butte.
Yeah, she has played it. Johanna, of course, actually the second most played hero for Clouded Mind, so that could also be considered a target ban as well. If they're continuing this, then they really should just be banning Lucio here. Overall, I like that ban coming out of amateur opponents, but they're gonna ban out the Zool here. Still pretty solid in that off lane. A little bit weaker. He's been nerfed twice since his soft rework there. But overall, still really solid in my opinion with that full W build, which has somehow been escaping a lot of these nerfs, or has been indirectly getting nerfed.
What do you think is going to be the first pick?
Oh, and it's gonna be Jimmy Raynor himself coming out here.
Oh wow, we didn't even get to talk about this team's picks. They already go for it.
Yeah, they know what they want here on the side of the amateur opponents, and they're just gonna take it. They're gonna, of course, take that Rexar, considered basically S+ here, as well as the Sylvanas, which is just overall a solid pick.
We'll see how Clouded Minds respond to this.
Alright, there's gonna be a Stukov and a Gul'dan. This is one of Gul'dan's good maps overall. Stukov played twice so far by Clouded Mind, and Savadas has been played 6 times with a 100% win rate of amateur opponents here. Overall, a very solid opener from both teams. I kind of like it. No one's really had any tank priority yet, and that's a little interesting. So the second wave of bans could very well end up being tank oriented, as we see the ETC banned out.
I really like the Stukov pick here on the side of Clouded Minds because the silences around the capture point, it could be very devastating.
Anduin banned out against amateur opponents here. They have rated it 5 times, also 100% win rate. Stukov being their number one, so that's really the top 2 supports out of, or really top 3 supports out of amateur opponents taken away so far. In fact, the only support left that they've played so far this season has been Lucio at NGS. So that could be potentially Butte's last pick up there at the end. We see the Greymane Garrosh picks up. There's going to be Kira. Kira considered a pretty solid counter to Rexar in the off lane. And then, of course, Blaze picked up there for the main tank for Clouded Mind.
What do you think about the matchup between Garrosh and Blaze as the main tanks?
I think overall it's not like it heavily favors one person over the other. I think it's not like it's Garrosh and like Diablo, right? Where like Garrosh is clearly the counter pick. And it is going to be that Lucio there for Butte Holiday picked up at the very end as we called. Dex doing all the shoutouts in chat right now. I'm more interested to see how the Kira Rexar plays out. I haven't yet to see it played, but I just constantly hear that it's the go-to counter pick that you need to have in your belt buckle against the Rexar. As we're getting ready for Game 1 of Amateur Opponents versus Clouded Minds, we have Butte Holiday on the Lucio, Cactus Ham on Savanas, Sonic's Bro 33 playing Greymane Duck Rogers on the Garrosh, and Saint Terminator playing Rexar.
And on the right side, we have Tiger playing Kira, Venus playing Raynor, Swing playing Gudan, Star Knight on Stukov, and Double Eldem on Blaze.
Alrighty, which draft would you say you favor overall, Patience, and why?
I would usually base that on the healer choices, but Lucio and Stukov are one of my favorite healers, so it's very hard to pick. But since I introduced Clouded Minds, and they're kind of the underdog, I think, in this matchup based on the current stats, which is not equal because they play a different number of games. I would side on the team Clouded Minds for now and see how it goes.
Alright, in that case, I'm gonna go ahead and favor amateur opponents just so there's a little bit of tension here between the two teams. I really like the Greymane Savanas. It's a solid, consistent DPS setup. Me being in the DPS, I'm gonna be able to focus on that a little bit more. It will kind of come down to like Savanas' playstyle can change depending on if she goes Q or W build. And even then, like depending on like the 4 pickup and the 10s and the whatever, like she's got a lot of flexibility in playstyle. It is gonna be the W coming out of her, and I like that. I think they come out of the early game swinging hard, and they still have that scaling potential because of her. Whereas like Don Raynor are kind of looking to scale a little here. Alrighty, it's gonna be ace in the hole for Raynor. Sometimes you see a lot of Sturmer Row coming out there. We do see Clouded Minds up here already kind of zoning out the boss area, playing it safe, but also being able to keep vision on any kind of like back end rotations. Venus is going to stay up there a little bit longer because they still don't have vision on anyone. In the top lane, meanwhile, Misha is doing Misha things. The first clash here in the bot lane. Let's see who gets wave clear advantage, because that could be a lot of things going on here. And it looks like it's 2 globes picked up there for amateur opponents, so that's already a huge advantage. And they're calling for a pause. So we're going to show our face a little bit here.
Oh, I guess the Terminator might be having some issues again.
Terminator was the one that was having issues getting into lobby, and of course in there, and now it's gone. Rexar Misha top lane, nothing's happened so far. We have the quest picked up for Kira, so she's going to go into that passive build again that you normally see out of her for 1, 4, and 7. And then Rexar picked up Easy Prey, so he's not going to go into bird build, which actually might have been a nice pickup here, because I don't think they really necessarily need Misha to be good on the good at clearing waves and good at camping. But if you make Rexar
Mhm.
good at clearing the wave, you can keep Misha on the point a little bit better, I feel like. But I don't know. Could go either way. How do you feel about low blow coming out of Stukov there?
I think that require to get value, they really need to get the enemy team low, but maybe they're trying to rely on the fact that Lucio's healing output is a little bit low in the early game, which means Tukov will probably get a lot of value out of that. But that can definitely work. So I'm interested to see how much value Star Knight gets out of that.
And Accelerando out of Lucio there, that extra movement speed on wall ride for Lucio. How's that gonna play out this game?
There are a lot of walls, so that might really work out. Maybe it will be quick for the Lucio to go in and out of the fight and put themselves in a little bit of a dicey situations. I like the range better just because I like playing a little bit safer. But Butte is a pretty experienced healer, so we'll see how much value she gets out of that.
Alright. Set our camera here. Alright. I was referee, so I had to unpause. That's why I got distracted there. We see the Garrosh trying to look for that flank, but it's going to be scouted out there. Can actually take quite a bit of damage out of that Raynor. Keep an eye vision on that. 22 stacks
And
there
then
for Kira. But she's so low here in the top
yeah,
lane. Like, man, if you're looking at Kira to kind of pick Rexar, maybe she needs some scaling, which is fine. Like, if she needs scaling, she's going to scale into it relatively quickly. That would make the matchup similar to that of like Twin Blade Variant versus Rexar, right? Where you're looking for that
look at
extra.
that off lane.
I apparently was wrong. As she gets first blood of the entire game's gonna go over to Kira against Rexar there. Not was not expecting that. She was so low. I wasn't expecting her to hard commit that. I guess it is just better than Twin Blade Variant then. As the early capture point's gonna start getting ticked over here for Cloud in mind. Sylvanas does rotate to the top lane to make sure they don't miss any XP, prioritizing that over necessarily getting this this early objective capture here. Unfortunately, the Blaze stun barely missing out there on the Grey Mane. That camp that amateur opponents picked up got pushed in, keeping this wave push forward, giving them vision control over that wave lane. As now Sylvanas is here. There's the throw backwards onto Raynor, and he's going to end up falling there as well. Blaze tries to charge in and might end up paying for it, and he will pay for it. That's 2 kills there picked up for amateur opponents. Now we're going to see Misha's going to be the next kill of this game, it looks like. Do we have a W out of... Nope. The heal is going to come out in time. Caster's Curse is what we're going to play that off to. And of course, it's going to be Hungry Bear picked up there for the Rexar. You see it a lot more on this map than you do on like Dragonshire or other maps because it just lets Misha sustain on the point so well. Meanwhile, on the bot lane, we see the Sylvanas passive value going out as they're going to go ahead and secure a tower down here. And man, this Misha's having a hard time fighting this Kira. Maybe that matchup's all it's cracked up to be, as we actually see Starcrid got thrown and then dies there, and now the Unstoppable coming out with Ducks to make sure they get the retreat, the movement speed there out of the Lucio, and Bot Globe going to be picked up here by Sylvanas, maybe? Waiting for the team. Gonna share the globe, share the love. Bot point picked up by Cloud in Mind still, but they're fighting for this top. Man, this Kira just... Honestly, it seems to be the counter. I'm so interested in this top lane. I missed that kill once again. This 2 kills in the bot lane. I just really want to see how top lane plays out. Like, is it as good of a counter as Reddit likes to claim?
As far as the bottom lane goes, I have to give it to the amateur opponents on getting a lot of value on every throw that Doc Rogers is able to land.
You see the Sylvanas passive once again coming out, trying to get that other tower. They got it halfway. Double Dam has already dove in, but it's going to be backing up now. They're starting to get a little low. The sustained healing showing they don't really have the burst healing. Venus gets thrown in here, 170, 43, 50 health. It is going to get out, and Lucio is going to actually pay the price there. That's the power of those new towers. Probably he ended up attacking him first and ended up pulling aggro. Now we're going to get a little bit more percentage here for amateur opponents before bots once again picked up by Clouded Minds. There we go. Tiger's getting low in mana, and that may be an issue going forward here, just for time being until he's able to regen it. As he once again forces Misha off the point. Gonna push forward there. There's another silence coming out of Stukov. Cactus Ham there getting pretty low once again. They kind of need, there's the amp it up, kind of Lucio. They're gonna move forward a little bit here. Cactus Ham's gonna go ahead and fully back, so I imagine that's gonna be a little bit more passive a lane for a little bit here. Never mind. They're so posturing around this objective point. Dive in once again from Double Dam. Get thrown out, and then the Q hit up there by Duck Rogers on the Garrosh. What do you think of the top lane matchup so far? Never mind, the teams are going to fight. We're going to see Weakness drop down to the power of the Sylvanas W and the Greymane. 13 health. Unfortunately, Blaze is going to fall down once again. Alright, now what do you think about the top lane matchup?
I've never seen that matchup before, so this is really interesting that this is going basically even so far. But it seems like Kira has maybe a slight advantage in this matchup, or maybe it's a skill matchup. I'm not really sure. What do you think?
I think if she's able, like, she seems to be able to box Misha really well, and if she gets onto the Rexar, she just seems to be able to, like, kill him almost instantly. So it feels like it is Kira favored. She also picked up the armor on auto attack, so that's gonna help her in that, like, straight boxing situation. And then the extra damage there on people under half. They're going forth on the Tiger though, as the rotation was up there in time, and they're able to finish them off, keeping only Sylvanas in the bot lane there. And that kind of makes sense, right? Because they already had most of the tower. She's got the passive there. She's able just to get the XP, keep the tower turned off, try to help out a little bit, but doesn't have to play that unsafe at all. Almost a 2-level lead already here for amateur opponents. Rather, not really when you want to see yourself behind by 2 levels already. Basically, they traded walls here for the waves. Be interesting going forward how much that plays out, as they'll switch sides for where the waves go. So they might be looking at potential lane swap here. Both teams are going to pick up their siege camp to start. Of course, their bruiser camp stolen away earlier in the bot lane by amateur opponents. As they're going to look to push in. Just got to pick up that top camp real quick just to help them in that matchup in the top lane. They're pushing forward with the Sylvanas passive, trying to get down this building. They have Sylvanas Greymane, and Sylvanas Greymane is really good at shredding buildings, right? So that's a fort gone now in favor of amateur opponents. They won't have the wave down here, unfortunately, for them. The next Zerg wave, theirs won't push bot, so they can't really threaten keep just yet. But it will set them up for future success, as we actually see Terminator here on this Rexar in the top lane. Super low. Lucio's actually going to run up there, grab that, while the rest of the team goes ahead and picks up their bruiser camp now. And really it just feels like they have control over the pace of the game right now as we start to approach that mid-game. Level 10's of course picked up already, as they're already approaching level 11. What do you think of their ult choices on the side of amateur opponents?
They seem pretty standard to me. Taunt by Garrosh, Silence Arrow from Sylvanas, Sound Barrier for Lucio, and so on. And of course, Cursed Bullet is the one that I wasn't sure either way, but I guess that would be really good at deleting the health of Blaze up in the front line.
Not sure how much Misha caught, how many members are up here on the side of Clouded Minds, but must have, as amateur opponents are already halfway through the boss. Now Rexar is going to move over with that easy prey. This is going to be quick and easy boss pickup here on the side of amateur opponents. Not the strongest boss, but any boss is a boss. And that's still going to add quite a bit of pushing power to your lane. It's going to go top. It's going to give them some early pressure there in that lane. The bullet out onto the Stukov. Venus trying to get out with that Rainer's, trying to march forward the best he can. The silence coming out. Stukov's going to be the first to die, followed quickly by the Raynor. Now that they're trying to disengage here as the boss shows up for amateur opponents. Does Sylvanas have her passive? I believe she does. There it is. Now she's going to start turning off the buildings here. And this boss is going to get quite a bit of value. And the first capture percentages will start to be picked up here in favor of amateur opponent, which is really going to bode well for them moving forward, as this is starting to look like this is going to be at least a keep if they get this wave at 100%.
It's a very unfortunate timing for the Clouded Minds, as the objective was spawning and they still do not, they just pick up 10, so there was really no way that they could engage into 10. It looks like the boss might actually pick up most of the fort and top lane.
Yeah. Double damn there on the Blaze. Tried to get an initiation going there underneath a fort once Savant's passive was out. Missed the stun and then popped combustion and was unable to land it on anyone. Just does not feel good, but at least they have the rest of their ults. They do have the Hyperion out of Raynor, so they could potentially look for something there. It looks like they're going to wrap around here on the side of Clouded Mines. They're going to die for it. Here comes Hyperion. It's just Duck there in the back. 4-man taunt coming out, and that's going to bode very well for amateur opponents as they're able to keep them alive. But the fear out of cooldown is just becoming too much damage. Misha goes down. Greymane goes down. Now they're pushing forward here onto the Terminator. Rexar is going to go down. There's no... is he? He is going to go down in the end. The W coming out of Kira in time. Let's see how much of that I actually caught here. Give it a second. Alright, so there's the Hyperion. You see the dive forward. The stun going out onto the Greymane from the Kira. Duck's super low. He's forced out. Butte's trying to heal him up. Keeps him alive. But unfortunately, the Rexar running around the long way on the towers is just unable to keep himself alive as he will also go down. Meanwhile, Clouded Mines picked up the bottom channel point and the top one. Well, they already had the top one, I think. They re-picked up the bottom one, got a couple percent, got their bruiser camp, retaking bot. Amateur opponents respawn. They headed top now as well. And then we're going to start the game. The classic Braxis ring around the rosy. Quick siege camp steal away here from amateur opponents while Clouded Mines are busy trying to secure their own fort. If they pick this up, they are also able to threaten keep. Right now, it's pretty even on the pickup for this, but they need to be careful if they get engaged on from behind. Though Greymane's still showing top lane, this would be in their favor. Misha's down now as well, which really doesn't bode well for amateur opponents as Rexar built into the Misha and not into Rexar himself. Top fort, though, looks like it's going to fall down due to this camp here, but here comes another 5v5 out of these teams. Of course, we haven't even mentioned Echoed Corruption has already been finished there for the Gul'dan. The oil spill is coming out. They're slowly starting to kite backwards, but without the Gul'dan being mounted and against the Lucio, there it goes forward. He's going in on the Gul'dan, but the rest of the team wasn't there to follow up. This is going to be another disengage. Some more channel percentage there for amateur opponents with that 13 talent tier advantage. Cloud Mine's just going to go top, recapture that to stop the channeling on the percentage. Amateur opponents are going to take the time to pick up their camp as well. Unstoppable now finished for Blaze. Do you feel like as this game goes on, there's a team that's favored if this goes into the hyper late game or just the late game?
No, I think this is snowballing enough that unless you're like getting a full wipe up,
Blaze just taunted and then thrown, and then hit by the Q. Just deleted there. The power of Bullet, able to pick off tanks with that garage really easily. Kira once again going down to the bot lane. Butte there on the Lucio running circles around the Gul'dan. They're going to land the Rexar stun onto the Gul'dan and finish him off as well. And Misha will pay the price. A kill for half a kill there as this Bruiser camp starts to push in. And it looks like this could be another boss pick up here by amateur opponents. They're going to start it. They are going to secure it. This will be able to be picked up by them. Kira's going to see it in time. Sylvanas is finishing, getting the channel going for them. 98, 100% now of a wave coming out. They're trying to get the Sylvanas. There's the friendly throw from Gul'dan, or Garrosh, the other G1. The ults from Kira coming out, then the Misha stun, and then the bullet comes out as well. This bullet's really just putting in work this game. It's going to be wave, Bruiser camp, double Kata, and the boss in the top lane here for amateur opponents. There goes Gul'dan down as well. That's a lot of wave clear missing now from the side of Clouded Mines. There's the big taunt, but also a big combustion. Butte there in trouble, down to 100 health. Under the Hyperion is going to fall. Double damn there, saying I'm out of there. With the Blaze able to survive this time around without that bullet, they have a much harder time killing off that Blaze. But do they have enough wave clear? Kira's now back alive for them, but can they handle this? There's so much things that need to be clear. Tiger just respawning. That's a dieback there on the Kira as she just walks into the enemy team. Not looking well. Now the boss is here, but so is Gul'dan. Can they make something happen here on the side of Clouded Mines? There's a big stun coming out of the Misha. The throwback on the Raynor. Weenus in trouble. He's trying to heal back up with his E. He's going to go ahead and get out. Then someone pop by Garrosh, and that's going to be game one. Going over to the side of amateur opponents.
Butte, their last comment, did not like that combustion, which killed her with the damage
One
over
bit.
time.
It looked so good in the early game. The Kira matchup ended up topping the hero damage overall. How did you feel like that matchup ended up playing out in the end? Like in lane wise, like obviously like up till about level 11 before the rotation started.
Yeah, I think Greymane rotated up there a couple of times, or Sylvanas did, to kind of had to help out the Rexar because of Kira. So I think it was in the favor of Kira overall, in terms of 1v1. But in the end, because of the team play, um, on the side of amateur opponents, they were able to get 100% each time, got both objectives with the bosses, and had such a strong push.
They
And I must give it to Garrosh for and the team for following up on that throw every time. Anybody that Garrosh threw, it was a kill.
Yeah, and a lot of time, a lot of players on Garage will throw Q taunt and will only do the combo in that order. So it was interesting to see the taunt throw Q coming out onto that Blaze the one time. A little bit of a mix up there just to make sure he got the right CC at the right distances to make sure he could guarantee that throw. And then guarantee the kill. If you're Clouded Minds, how do you approach this going forward? Do you go for first pick again, or do you take map pick? Knowing Dragon Shire's out of the map pool. Which is the other map where
I'm,
taking second pick is obviously favored.
I'm not actually sure if they have a strong hero pick on the side of Dragonshire, or any map. Do you know who picked Dragonshire?
Um, Dragonshire was banned out by amateur opponents.
Oh, it's banned out. Oh, I thought you meant that was the next map.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
my
no.
bad.
I was saying, knowing that that's banned out, do you go, which one do you pick, basically? Knowing that that's banned out, so you don't have to worry about another Braxis scenario.
I think the draft went in. I mean, in terms of the draft alone, I think Clouded Minds did pretty well with the first pick, so they might opt for that again, unless they really have a map that they would like to take amateur opponents to.
Mm-hmm. Alright, sorry I got distracted for a second. People asking for... What, was the lobby link posted? Oh, it was. It was even before the last message I read in-game. Alright, we're going to Tomb of the Spider Queen, a very wave-clear heavy map. We saw Gul'dan in Game 1. Do you think we'll see Gul'dan in Game 2 because of the map pick?
I think we might. Again, both teams probably need to focus on wave clear yet again. So we might see Sylvanas again, Gul'dan again. Greymane is pretty good, paired with Sylvanas as we've seen before, but I would like to see if we're going to see some target bans here based on game number 1.
Indeed, 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 indeed. Tomb of the Spider Queen, played by amateur opponents 3 times so far. They won it twice. Clouded Minds have not played Tomb as of yet. So this is their first game on Braxis, first game on Tomb, at least according to Heroes profile pages for these teams. If you didn't know, NGS actually partners with Heroes profile, so that way every team has a unique page to that team that you can do easy, quick scouting on. It's not always the most up to date. I have noticed that in the past using it, that sometimes it lags about a week or 2 behind, but it is a solid pickup overall. There's gonna be the Savannah's target ban, of course, the Johanna banned out once again. Johanna, of course, is good overall, and of course, good on this map. Garrosh banned out as well, saying that was a major issue for Clouded Minds in the last game for sure. So they're going for the target bans. If I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna lose to something new. Maybe those are just one tricks coming out. Thank you, Spectrama, for saying that. Appreciate the comment. We try to make things look nice here. We try our best. Doesn't always work, but we try. And of course, the second ban coming out is going to, of course, be the Zool, because Zool's still pretty good. Oh, and you have and the Prime sub. Thank you very much. Enjoy your first blood emote. Best emote for players. What's the first pick here from? Never mind, it's the UTC. Gonna show a little bit more of a priority there onto their tanks. It really didn't necessarily look like Double Dam there was that comfortable on the Blaze. She tried her best, but it felt like he was a little bit laggy. He missed a lot of the stuns, but this time has the ETC, a lot more common of a tank pickup. Butte saying she wants the Stuke off this time around for those silences saying, it's my turn to create puddles on the floor. And of course, the Greymane picked up once again. Let's see it. I want to see the Uther come out. Come on. Unclouded Minds. Do Divine
I'd
Shield
love to
Mosh.
see Uther, but
Kael'thas
yeah.
and Anduin. People not respecting the good old D-Shield mosh pits from the old days. Back in my day. Alright, well, we're gonna see the Kael'thas and Anduin picked up here. How do you feel about the those two pickups so far?
I like the Kael'thas, especially because there are a lot of narrow corridors around the turn-ins. So Kael'thas could get a lot of value, not only for the spread, but also for like a linear line stuns. And at the same time, that goes for the Stukov as well, because the silence pools can be deadly.
Yeah, we see the Leoric ban come out of amateur opponents, and I gotta say, I was confused for about half a second before I realized Kael'thas plus ETC plus Anduin all do a very good job of punishing people stuck in a small space, just like in a Tomb Wood. There's gonna be the Arthas ban saying, we're not gonna give you the Sylvanas, we're not gonna give you Cindergosa either. You want to attack us, you're gonna have to deal with our towers as well. So I like that, picked up from them. It also could hint that they're maybe looking at something that's more of a melee AA attack hero. Maybe looking for a potential Artanis pickup here. The blind to deal with the Greymane a little bit, but also the infinite stacking auto attack. So we're going to deny that. It's going to be Mal'Ganis Tassadar, picking up here by amateur opponents. Mal'Ganis, pretty solid overall. Can struggle sometimes into CC or into anti-heal, but has a lot of CC himself, as well as having, of course, the Carrion Swarm to try to get out of a lot of sticky situations. And Tassadar means that they're going to have Force Wall, so they can Force Wall into the Stukov Silence, into the stun from Mal'Ganis, into a sleep if they want to go all the way. And with the bullet abilities we saw out of Greymane last game, I'm not all surprised. We're going to see Kira this time played by Venus, unless they end up swapping an Imperius in the off lane. So it's not going to be the Artanis that I was calling for, that I thought they were setting up for, but instead it's going to be Imperius. How do you feel about Imperius right now?
I think it could be really strong. Again, in tight spaces, he could land spears into many people, and that would be really deadly as well. So we'll have to see and pay attention to these team fights that might happen around the turn-in objective points.
We see Malthael as the last pick up there to try to deal with some of the heavier frontline coming out of Clouded Mines. Imperius is, if you land his Q, you basically win the 1v1 into almost any character in the game. But so it's really a skill-based hero. I know some really good Imperius players. I know some really bad Imperius players. Really go either way, but they have a lot of CC this time on the side of Clouded Mines, and I gotta say, I like that addition to their team. As we head into Game 2 of Amateur Opponents versus Clouded Mines, Amateur Opponents currently up 1-0. We have Butte Holiday on the Stukov, Duck Rogers on Mal'Ganis, Cactus Ham playing Tassadar, Sonic's Bro 33 playing Greymane, and Saint Terminator on the Malthael.
And on the right side, we have Clouded Mines, Tiger playing Imperius, Double Aradam playing ETC, Star Knight playing Anduin, Venus playing Kira, and Swing on Kael'thas.
Alright, is there a draft that you like here?
Based on game number 1, it seems like amateur opponents really know how to capitalize on the tank engages. So I'm kind of happy that Clouded Mines has Anduin to save that person that gets CC'd right off the bat. So I would, and I would like to go to game 3. So I will root for Clouded Mines once again.
I just started clicking as if I was playing. Old habits, man. By old habits, I mean habits from like every single day when I play. Alright, we're gonna see the Q quest picked up by Tassadar. I see it a lot. It lets Tassadar play more like a traditional mage where he's just like a heavy, large burst. But overall, I don't feel like he necessarily plays to his best strength, which is his Psystorm. I think Psystorm overall is just a really solid build. We'll have to see what he picks up at 16. That's usually the talent tier that you really get to know your Tassadar. But of course, the ulti, we could see the infamous black hole coming out of Tassadar here. Spine Launcher picked up this time by Stukov. How do you feel about that change?
That is pretty good. It allows Stukov to play a little bit safer, and then it provides still pretty good amount of auto attack damage, and it provides slow. And it looks like amateur opponents once again is going for that one CC or engage to leading to one kill, especially with a Q pickup by Passadai as well for the burst damage.
For sure. So far, nothing really major happened. We do have the wave clear advantage going over to amateur opponents, but with a name that's all about dealing 150% extra damage to non-heroes, that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? We're gonna see Duck there interrupt the rotation, but he's gonna start to be CC'd, and he may end up paying for it. He doesn't have Carrion Storm just yet, but a big stun. There's the force wall, but the dive forward from Venus there, unfortunately, isn't gonna be enough. Duck barely gonna get out there with the help of Cactus Ham. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Tiger just getting pretty low, almost out of mana, almost out of health. Gonna be forced to tap there. Gonna walk forward here, maybe trying to look for the Mothale to get back. Misses the Q, but lands the W. Meanwhile, the top lane, of course, they're just kind of going back and forth. Classic early game hots here on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
And I think Rayman is rotating down for the bottom camp. And did a really good job going in the safe around their base way, not to show it to the enemy team.
Here comes the rotation up by Tiger there. Dashing forward, they're trying to get the Malgus once again. This Anduin pulling out the KT earlier was such a good move. Now Butte's gonna go down. Ah, 2 kills there for Kira on that passive, but bottom camp is gonna go over to amateur opponents this time around. And this is a chance for Spectrama there to use that first blood emote. Butte saying rip in the chat. Alright. Do you feel like that camp was worth the 2 kills that they ended up losing there in the mid lane?
I don't think 2 kills is worth it. And this is kind of the same pattern that we saw in game number 1, where Clouded Minds gets the first kill. But I really hope that they can capitalize on this and keep their lead.
Venus playing very aggressively on this Kira. They're pinging for the Stukov. The silence comes out as well, and they're trying to turn around. They're gonna pick off the ETC. The big silent slow coming out of Butte, followed by the Tassadar wall, was just too much for that cow. It's almost like they have a beef. Alright. Nothing but silence, I get it. It's okay. I tried. We're done with jokes here. We're back to just plain serious streaming. I tried to be funny one time. Alright, Duck's just gonna go ahead and disengage there, the Tassadar wall. They're playing it safe here. Everyone's gonna go ahead and look. First turn-in is available now to amateur opponents, and they're barely off here. Just a couple more gems. After these waves are cleaned up here for them, amateur opponents, or Clouded Minds will have it available as well.
Turn-in is available for amateur opponents already.
Yeah, how important do you feel like the first turn-in is on this map? Ooh. Alganis is going to get CC'd there twice. But he's going to counter here. There's the task wall. There's a big Imperious stun as well. Here comes the Cura in as well. They're going to go ahead and try to pick off Duck here. They're going to get him low, down to 200 health, 222 health, 27 health, and falls. It almost feels like he should have died sooner. There's going to be another Q coming out from Imperious, but he's going to pay for it and is unable to get the kill. They're onto the Tassadar. Kira's running for her life now from the Mothale. Does she have her passive? She's going to go ahead, go into that unstoppable, invulnerable swing. Gonna get pulled across the wall by her swing by not reactivating it, and because of the positioning of Mothale, actually gets the escape, and then the Anduin pull out as well. So able to avoid an extra death here as the first spider wave will be picked up by the one and only amateur opponent. Both teams at level 7 right now. Go ahead.
Yeah, you were asking about the first objective. I don't think it's that strong, especially if your team has a lot of wave clear. You usually end up just getting the wall at the top if they were to prioritize, but it seems like amateur opponent is starting with the mid lane first.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and focus it down. They almost have the whole wall down. There's the task wall once again. There's the stun back there. The root there on the Sonics, bro. 33. He's going to get low. Down to 200 health, 155. He does still have some Cura Techiano, but he's going to be able to get out as well. Cactus Ham falling low. Unfortunately, no kills here for Clouded Minds. They really kind of need that. It would have really helped their defense. They lost mid wall so far. Their bot, they're going to lose Gate and A tower. I think he's going to be able to clear it before that second tower, as both teams are now positioning in the top lane here. Mothale is even going to rotate up to mid, catch that sword, maybe even finish rotation up. The Spider Wave's going to catch one there, but they're trying to look for some maybe CC here. There's the Sukov silence. They're blocking the gate, though, makes it really hard. They're going to lose one tower, and And that looks like all she wrote here in the top lane. They did end up losing both towers there in the bot lane, unfortunately, for Clouded Minds. Now they need to look for their own turn in here. But amateur opponents guarding that turn in the best they can. Here comes the sleep, looking for it, unable to land, but dodges the root on his own. Just the 10 race right now is in favor of amateur opponents with that first spider wave. Here comes Cactus Ham, gonna lose that unleash the Q there a little bit, and it was actually Electric Fence picked up at level 4, so a little bit unsafe for Tassar, but he's got that extra utility and a little bit of extra damage there. Weenus getting low on the Cure once again, but as we've seen before, he's actually pretty solid at getting out there. Gonna throw the Q, gonna throw his W, then the Anduin pool comes out once again. This Anduin saving lives, doing the good work.
Really happy to see that Clouded Minds is utilizing Anduin for the saves, because in game 1, those were most definitely kills on the side of amateur opponents.
Duck Rogers getting low, is just getting CC chained here to death, but the Stukov silence comes out, and it's actually made a turnaround there. 1, 2, 3 dead from amateur opponents, and that's a lot of gems lost. Let's take another peek at that once again. Just give it a second there. There we go. Alright, so we see the teams there. They're positioning her up. Clouded Minds going off to the right. Amateur opponents coming up, back through the mid. And they catch Tiger out just a little bit. There's going to be power slide there onto the Mal'Ganis. They're trying to get him low, but they're not quite able to finish him. And then the big silence from Stukov comes out. And then a quick 3-man kill for for amateur opponents. And I need to go back to this one.
The amateur opponents, the synergy between the tank and the heals, especially here with the Mal'Ganis stuns into the silence from Stukov, a Butte, is just amazing.
Yeah, the Siege Camp picked up once again. My amateur opponents was able to finish off that bottom tower. And there's an ulti we need to discuss. Holy Word Salvation coming out of Anduin. What do you think
I'm
about
actually
it?
afraid for Anduin for that, because there are a lot of interrupts that can come from the side of amateur opponents to
Here
end it
comes
early
the
on.
dash forward there by the ETC. Cure ulti coming out. There's the mosh pit onto 1. That might be what they need. They're going to go ahead and finish off the Stukov this time. Cactus Ham getting low is going to be finished off by the Power Blast. Here's the Holy Word Salvation defending from the Mafia. There's a power slide onto the Duck Rogers once again. He's trying to get out with the sleep. They're able to sleep 2 members here, but he's going to get gravity laps by the KT. Here's the dash forward there onto the Imperius, but they're going to go ahead and get out 2 deaths there for amateur opponents. But now this gives them a chance to clear the spiders here for Clouded Minds. Kind of the breather that they might have needed here, as they actually might still lose the top 4.
Yep, as I say, I was worried about Holy Word Salvation for Cyanide. Cyanide is showing that he can get value out of that ultimate in this competition, against this kind of competition as well.
Tiger on the Imperius is going to pop a shield and was quickly deleted, and now he's in trouble as he's actually going to fall down there. The bullet from Grayman once again doing work. The silence from Stukov though is putting in value as well, making it really hard for the retreat here. Ween is still in there on the Cure, but has no mana, is going to get slept by the Mal'Ganis, but the ETC being able to knock the Greymane back into the tower, just showing the power of those minus armor towers and the power of having CC while defending.
Now they have turn-in again, so I hope that they can hold on to their gems, and they might get a pickup on the Tassada here? No.
Yeah, the Tass was able to save him, but he was really far out and it was really unsafe. It felt like he was just 1 CC away from dying. Oracle now picked up here. Of course, we did see it earlier. It is going to be the Archon. Unfortunately, no black hole for us today here on the side of amateur opponents. Stukov Silence getting an interrupt, but it's actually the Thief ult coming out of Imperius. Going to lift him up there. I thought that was the shield earlier, though. Oh, but quick pickup on Mal'Ganis, unexpecting that ulti. Duck Rogers curing and Swarm out of that. Here comes the Holy Word Salvation, getting value once again. Bullet going out onto Tiger. The Tassar are trying to do work, but is unfortunately going to start to be CC chain here. Stun twice, 2, 3 times. There's the Mosh Pit also catching them Mal'Ganis here. And now he's going to get the Gravity Lapse on that. The Cure ulti trying to finish off Saint Terminator there, but is unable to do so in time. 3 more quick kills there for Clouded Minds.
They're getting a lot of value out of that Imperius engages. When those stuns land, they know how to follow up on it. And it really helped that they were able to pick up Stukov earlier on to avoid the silence.
Yeah, we can see there just the chain CC getting so much value. They were able to defend amateur opponents' bruiser camp. They were able to pick up their own bruiser camp. They were able to pick up their first spider wave here. And they're actually leading in kills on the side of Clouded Mines. And the game's starting to look really good for them right now. Would you be feeling if you were on Clouded Mines?
I think this is a little bit of or maybe a huge momentum shift for them. And hopefully they ride on that momentum to get some structures down to even out the macro, and then hopefully keep that momentum and push on.
Do you think having the Kira, the hybrid spell plus auto attack damage, is going to hinder their ability to siege compared to having that full auto attack hero of like a Greymane? The root combo there going on as the Kira. Every time I try to ask you a question, they decide to fight. Alright, they decided to stop, so you can go ahead and answer, I guess.
While that might be an issue, I think they could get pickups like right here,
Yeah.
and then hopefully get some advantage into being able to push. Oh, that was so
Greymane
close.
got all the way down to 12 health before getting out alive, just barely. These task walls have done almost as much saving as the Anduin pool has, as the teams are really just fighting bot to top. It looks like they're going to go ahead. Amateur opponents going to clean out top here. Clouded Mines deciding to go ahead and defend their keep from that siege camp in the bot lane. That was once again picked up by amateur opponents. They're doing a really good job picking that up. Now it's going to be a quick boss rush here coming out of amateur opponents. How do you feel about that one?
I think they did see many members of Clouded Mines down in the bot lane, so I think they decided to go for it. Doc Rogers doing a great job anchoring and then providing vision for the team while they finish up the boss, and it looks like they will get it uncontested.
Pick it up, but they might have to pay for it. There's the sleep on Kira. Tornado from the boss came out, but that's all she wrote for that. They're just looking for that disengage here. They need a little bit more. Both teams basically even on gems, but Clouded Mines having one less turn in so far means that they only need 5 less. Here comes the stun. The pool from the Imperius is going to lift it up. The task wall coming out though as well. The silence, and Imperius is actually the first to fall. Saint Terminator getting low there on it as well. But the pull back on Venus from the Anduin once again. The Archon has been popped for the sieging prowess that is Archon. But it looks like they're just going to back off here, finish picking up gems, and look for that next turn in.
Once again, that Stukov and the Tacita War basically prevented the rest of the team to engage on the Imperius engage, which basically got the Imperius kill off, and then unfortunately that the keep wall on the top lane is gone already, and they're working on the bottom lane.
Oh, all right. 25 gems securely turned in so far for amateur opponents. They're going to turn in the rest. They don't have a full turn in. Clouded Mines does. Both teams are at 16. And, yeah, pretty even. This could be the chance for Clouded Mines once again. They've been making good usage of their 10s. They have the Mosh Pit available. Imperius' ulti is up in 8 seconds. Pyroblast is available. Holy Word Salvation, which has done surprisingly quite a lot so far this series. They're trying to turn in here. There's going to be the scout there onto the duck. There's the power slide. It's not unfortunately going to miss. Venus is going to be interrupted, but Tiger's going to land us on too. There's the sleep onto ECC, but it's going to be the big Stukov combo onto Imperius. Is going to cause him to die. Venus is trying to get some kills here in the back as well. It's going to be the Greymane the next to fall. Anduin actually securing the kill. Saint Terminator running forward so far. There's going to be the Gravity Labs. Here comes the Pyroblast onto him as well. He's already going to tick down anyway. He's actually going to survive Pyroblast there, but is unfortunately going to die to the Kira poison over time. Pierce still trying to get value. There's going to be the pull back onto ECC as he tries to power slide. Here comes the Mosh Pit and the Holy Word Salvation, unfortunately. Both getting less than ideal value, I'd say. At least Holy Word Salvation was able to heal up and act as an AoE heal, even if not really making use of that protect status.
Starlight is really showing me that it is possible to get out of Hollywood Salvation in this kind of situations.
There's the big combo onto Stukov once again. It really feels like Clouded Mines excels at the fights where they pick off the Stukov quick and early. And they've mostly been able to do that with the Imperius ulti, so they need to continue to look for that going forward, I feel like. As they're going to pick up their second web weavers here as well. That means both teams have had 2 web weavers so far, right? And then both of them have had them twice in a row.
Mm-hmm.
See what the structures look like after they've had an even number of web weavers here. Duck queuing around a little bit. Has one more until the stun, but misses the stun. Tiger minus 10 armors. Did take a tower shot from that fort. Both teams posturing here with 5. Stukov with that sidewall gone. Maybe not as scary. Bottom spider, not really gonna get much value. It's all the way back at the keep. Mid spider, though, can threaten a fort as well. Sleep coming out of Mal'Ganis, just zoning out. Tassadar Q misses well. Here comes the stun, though, onto the Imperious. There's the root, but it's going to be the pullback this time. Weedus, though, super deep, eating the tower as well. Has some minus armor. Here comes his ulti, but is unfortunately going to die. But here comes the steal away onto the Mothale. They have the lift off the power slide as well. He's trying to tip down. There's the bullet onto Imperious. Here's the Holy Word Salvation, taking them up once again, especially with that double tank front line that they have. They're able to get the kill onto the Mothale, get the kill onto Mal'Ganis. And it's a 2-for-1 so far in favor of Clouded Minds. The teams are pushing forward, still looking for maybe more CC there onto Cactus Him. The Pyroblast is going to go out, but with Oracle, as long as he stops moving, he's going to be just fine. There it goes. That's 30 spell armor when not moving. Mid fort fell to the Spider, but Greyman able to finish it off immediately after. Bottom of Spider does show up in time. Will it even channel this? It will get off a web wave there onto the well, but then just vanishes. Fierce is going to rotate down. Actually, all of Clouded Minds is going to rotate down, looking to finish them off here and secure another fort. Meanwhile, what's the overall siege advantage here? Just to keep wall, basically, or to keep walls.
So this is a big momentum shift for Clouded Minds, so I hope that they keep riding on this. But unfortunately, Amateur Opponents does have a very easy turn-in. They only need 3 more gems, so they need to make sure that they watch out for the turn-in points, as well as raise to 20. Which, again, Amateur Opponents is very close to right now.
So, Weenius on the Kira got the booming kick at 16, which is the AoE stun on the reactivation. It feels like that may have gotten a lot of value that went unnoticed in the last fight, as he did, I think, actually end up stunning 3 or 4 people when he was back there. They're going to go ahead, and Clouded Mind is going to make sure that Amateur Opponents doesn't go for another quick, cheeky boss. But Amateur Opponents, meanwhile, in fact, just going to go for a turn-in. There is 2 camps available. They're able to clean out mid-camp. And now it's going to be... Oh! Barely missed starting it in time on the side of Clouded Minds. That just feels sad. That would have been a whole nother fight we could have watched. Level 20 advantage now in favor of Amateur Opponents. They've still been able to hold on to the XP advantage this whole time. Even though they're actually down in kills, it's really just this macro pressure. The early building's giving a lot of that bonus passive over time advantage to them.
Well, it's a little unfortunate that we missed out on the team fight around the boss point. Since I'm a risk-averse player, I'm really glad for Clouded Minds at this point.
Quick clear there on the mid. Spider. Bot Spider not going to get much value. Had to fight into his Siege Minion. So really it's just going to come down to this top Spider and the value it gets. It looks like it will secure at least a well for Amateur Opponents, but can they get a keep? Keeps being very important because you can't kill the core until the keep is gone. There goes the well. Poor bot well. That's the last well of Clouded Minds gone. As the Spider at half health moves in here. There's the Force Wall coming out. We won't have that, and the Spider's gone. That, the Spider Wave didn't really get much besides de-push the lanes for Amateur Opponents, but can they make use of that map space now available to them?
Looks like both teams are having respect for each other in terms of how to engage into the team. I was kind of expecting Amateur Opponents to be a little bit more aggressive on the top with the Spider push, but now they just opt to go for the boss.
Amateur Opponents once again going for the boss. They decide to start it and then leash it. They're going to go ahead and bait that out. Oracle going to go ahead and scout out Clouded Minds as they move forward, but there's a 2-man stun out of it appears. The Mal'Ganis going to go ahead and get off his ulti in time. There's 2-man stun coming out of Weenius there. There's the Holy Word Salvation, the sleep coming out as well though from the ulti. Weenius there low in the back, but here's a 2-man Mosh coming out of ETC. Can they get value? KT is going to fall, but so is Mothale. There's the pull back on the Anduin to the Imperious. They're chasing them down. There's the Q forward, but there's going to be the root conquest. But there's the second pull from Anduin, saving the Imperious once again. The Archon popped. It is Infinite Archon. If he needs to start auto-attacking soon or he'll lose it, he's going to Q ahead. Now he's going to get it going as well. Archon's still one of the best sieging tools in the game for Tassadar. There's the stun onto the Greenian, but it really doesn't do much. The tower wasn't focusing him, and it is just an Imperious and Anduin left alive for Clouded Minds as they secure that keep in the bot lane. Now they're looking for a potential boss move here. Root combo gonna miss from Butte that time around. They're 20 3 gems off here on the side of amateur opponents. So they're not going to be able to get a boss and spider, but they are going to go ahead and secure this boss. Clouded Mines will be up in time, though. What does Clouded Nines need to do to not lose this boss?
Well, I mean, they won't be able to prevent this boss, but they may have to make sure that they don't get picked off while the boss is pushing with amateur opponents. Because if they do, I think this boss will be a game-ending, game-ending objective.
Amateur opponent's going to secure a couple gems here, and Cloud Mine's going to be forward. They're actually going to start with the Indian Wave, which is going to give away their position here. One Kata, no, that's going to be cleared out by their own Indian Wave. This boss, Tornado, though, forcing the ETC back into the enemy team. There's the pool 4, though, going to go ahead and save them. Lift up there onto the Malganas. The boss is now on core. They need to focus it down while also being weary of the potential team fight. Tiger going to miss his Q that time. Here comes the steal there onto the Greymane. He's going to pull him into the tower. They're going to go ahead and try to miss the Kira's stun. Unfortunately, there's going to be the Tassadar wall. The silencer onto Tiger, getting him low. The boss is still going on core. Terminator, they're going to eat the Pyroblast going forward, but the Greymane chasing down the Kael'thas. Here comes the power slide onto the Malthael. He's going to go ahead and go down 48% left on core. The sleep there onto 1. Now the Holy Word Salvation. The silence is going to erupt it as Imperius is going to fall now as well. 2 people down. There's going to be a last second kill there onto Anduin. It's not even going to trigger on the top of the screen, as it's a quick 2-0 from amateur opponents in what was actually a surprisingly close second game, comparing it to first game.
I agree. And Anduin did everything that he could to be able to save, and I rarely pick that double leap of faith talent at level 20, but that did save a couple of team members in one team fight from CC's. So great job.
Yeah, as one person in chat points out, there was no Deathmosh, and Deathmosh may have actually gotten quite a bit of value that game too, especially there at the end on that core defense. Let's go ahead and message some amateur opponent people, see if anyone's interested in an interview. We'll move down to an NGS lobby here, and as we wait for them.
All right.
If you have any questions for amateur opponents that you would like to ask, you can go ahead and post those in chat. I will keep an eye out for them. The other thing you can do is you can do !review, and that will pull up a link for you to the NGS caster review form, where you can give feedback to me and to NGS about the casting experience that you had here tonight.
Apparently there was a raid from Dukezak. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Dukezak. Also add a follow and of course Spectroma to subscribe with this Prime. No response yet, so let's message another member. I don't know if I have any other members actually. Not already set up. Let's see here, there we go. Maybe they don't want an interview. That's fine. Sarcastic shorter.
Well, it's all voluntary, so we won't force anybody to show up for the
Alright,
interview.
well, they're gonna go ahead and send someone now. We just had to find someone who was actually paying attention. Hello, Butte Holiday.
Hi, guys.
Oh, and Duck also said yes in the end.
He can do it if he wants.
You showed up for it, and you both can do it. I don't care. How are you feeling right now after that that series?
Oh, we're feeling a little. We're feeling all right. I mean, we played very sloppy game 2, and honestly, you know, CM just took it full advantage of that, and they killed us when we were out of position. And honestly, like we were really worried about game 2. But you know, at the end of the day, like you play sloppy, you might lose. So, glad we pulled it together. It was really good. But again, like, so it was a little frustrating. But yeah, I'm a little ranting. I'm sorry. I'm a little tired.
There's no time limit on having fun.
Yeah.
So game 1, we went to Brax's Holdout, which was your map pick. Usually hints that you have a plan there. Most people avoid Braxis. Is there a specific reason you guys opted for Braxis? Of course, if any question at any point you feel like gives away too much of your team strategy, feel free just to say so and we'll move on.
No, that's okay. I'm gonna be honest. People make that comment about giving away too much in interviews, and I mean, at the end of the day, I think, you know, a lot of teams like at Clouded Mines, for example, they were really hard to scout. We had a very difficult time figuring out what to ban, where we should even go. We knew they were really strong on towers, so when they banned towers, it was a little bit surprising. So we wanted to go to Braxis because that was a map that we feel really confident on. And so yeah, and most teams ban it, so not a lot of practice goes around on that map, but we feel really confident in it. So that's partially why we took it. And we have a really strong like solo lane and a really strong 4-man, and I think that that's kind of what this map plays off of is having two separate units be really strong independently, and team fighting when necessary. So and yeah, I think that works out on this map.
All right. So, when they picked the Kira into your Rexa, were you guys at all surprised? Have you guys considered that as the counter pick to that?
Shane really loves Rexar. We were more concerned about Zool. They've shown some Melthiel and some Zool. So Shane made it, pretty clear we need to, prioritize the off lane, and we did. And he's really good on Rexar. Obviously, the Kira's really strong, especially early game. So we need to play a little bit more conservative, and she's got really high mobility, which is really good, especially in the early game. So I wouldn't say we were surprised. We've seen it in a couple matches. Were we surprised from their team? Maybe a little bit. They tend to play a lot, and they swap roles. So we really, like I said, we were a little unsure of what to expect. So I think we made the best of it, though. Shane did a really good job in the offlane. So yeah.
Were you surprised to see the Kira once again in game 2, but swapped who was playing it?
No. But yes, at the same time. Kira's just a very interesting pick. I mean, she got I think it was Venus playing a game 2, but
Yeah.
he got a lot of I had like 5 health and it had 80 overkill when he activated his I think it's W, but
Yeah.
so some really good damage over time, which is especially frustrating as Stukov when you need to wait for your D to actually be up to actually burst heal. So I think that was a good pick into what we had, and as far as their team being able to poke, and I have to wait for my burst damage. So I think that that was a good pick with what they had, and we're not used to it. I think as a team, and we don't see a lot of it. And when we do, I think it's a little bit surprising, and you have to adjust. So I think we adjusted well. Like I said, we played a little sloppy game 2, but I think their comp gave us a lot of trouble in game 2, especially.
Between game 1, Duck on Garrosh, and game 2, you on Stukov, who do you think set up and got more picks?
I definitely think the tank. I mean, at the end of the day, Duck and I have really been working on our combos. And so I try to feed off of if he's able to get a throw, like as Lucio, when I boop them back, whether that's immediately after he stuns them or if they try to escape, like the ETC slide, or, other people that have escapes. So we really try to work on that, him and I, and that goes for several other combos as well. So I definitely would say him, to be honest. I think I just kind of set up what he puts out, and our DPS are able to, hop on and get some kills. So.
Right. Patience, do you have any questions for Butte there?
So following up on that question, it seems like I did mention this during the cast as well. The synergy between the tank and the healer was very beautiful to see, in my opinion, from the healer perspective as well. And so I'm guessing that your team really likes getting that one pick off right off the bat to start the team fight. Is that kind of what you guys practice and go for in most competitions?
Yeah, we definitely we love burst, we love CC, and that's something that I think the healers that I play and the tanks that Duck plays really play off each other well. They did choke a little bit in game 1, so I was a little bit concerned about what to bring, considering Lucio mostly has like soft CC, unless you take the stun, which is it really depends on what they have. So I think at the end of the day, healer is for us is not a really big priority. We do have a lot we can work with. The problem is just sometimes we've picked comps that counter synergize, and we've done that in practice where a healer doesn't really complement the tank and vice versa. So we've done our best to kind of figure that out and figure out what's optimal because our DPS can basically play everything, and our offlaner, he kind of does his own thing and he can play a lot of things and he just wants to wait it out and see how much he can counter at the end of the draft. So yeah, that's kind of how we do it, and we do our best to make sure our CC chains are on point. And as you can see, game 2 was a little a little rough. I think I tried to make too many plays. I was too aggressive, and I'm glad I got punished for it. Know what to work on for next time. So
Yeah, just the one time you were trying to get interrupts there on the turn in with the silence, and then just out of nowhere, Imperius ults you and steals you away.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. What do they call it when you fall in love with your kidnapper? I
Stockholm
forgot what
syndrome.
it. Yeah, I love Imperius. He's definitely a cutie. But was not really feeling the love there. Um, with the wrath. Getting kidnapped a couple times, but again, like that ult's really hard to land, and I think I was a good target for it. So, when I'm out there and out of position, that's that's what I get. So props to them. I think they did the same thing that we were trying to do in game 1, where we set up a lot of CC chains, we put out a lot of damage, and that's exactly what they did. That's kind of what we strive for too. So we ended up with the win, which is great. But at the end of the day, we have a lot to work on and a lot to improve on going forward.
All right, one last question before we start to wrap things up here. You hinted at a deep healer pool, but so far this season you've only played 3 healers: the Ana, the Stukov, and the Anduin.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lucio. Actually, it's 4, isn't it? It's Lucio too.
Lucio. Yep. Yep.
Okay. And is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Just
No,
no.
here's the thing. If you don't ban them, I can play them. So I think that those are the 4 that work best with our comps and what we like to run. I mean, you don't get 4 bans, but if the other
Not
team,
yet.
takes, well, if the other team takes a pick away like they did game 1, Lucio obviously isn't optimal, but there's a lot of things that he does really well with Garrosh. So it worked out, but like Ariel was something we considered, but she counter synergizes with Garrosh to some degree. So that was an option as well. But I mean, let me play Broccoli Malfurion if you really want me to, and I'll totally do it.
Solo heal Abathur. Let's go.
Oh god, no. Just don't make me play
Ragnaros.
Rhaegar.
Patience would be
Please don't
so.
make me play Rhaegar.
No love for the old man Deckard.
I love Deckard. I think I think our team would benefit from Deckard, but I think a lot of the kits that like on a Nano Boost and Healing Grenade and Stukov Silence and Root at 13, I think those are like really strong. Not that they overpower the Deckard route, but I think a lot of teams are able to kind of just walk away from the Deckard route.
That's what
And
Sapphire's for, and Lord NATO.
so, exactly. Yeah, no, I love me some Lornado. I just think we need to figure out what comp is optimal with him. But once we feel comfortable with it, I'm fine playing with it.
The answer, of course, is just more Deckards. Just a team of 5 Deckards.
Dude, listen, they banned Ana, and if they would have banned Deckard, they would have been a little ageist there, hating on the elderly of Heroes of the Storm. But yes, give Daddy Deckard some love. So.
All right. Do you have any shoutouts that you want to give out, Butte?
Well, obviously, shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for picking up the cast. I know I'm sure I speak for Clouded Minds as well when I say we appreciate the cast. You guys, I'm sure, did an excellent job. We'll look forward to watching the VOD later, so especially on such short notice, thank you.
We just turned off all the sound and just sat here on the camera frozen in the middle of the map.
There you go. That's okay. Props to the team, my team. Really, really appreciate you guys sticking to it. And I really was off my game today. So, again, like picking me up and making sure we, clutch it out. And I mean, honestly, like props to Clouded Minds. I know several of them. Venus and Double Dam is my girl. And I love you guys, and they really punished us. And I think if you're out there and you're scouting, like, don't underestimate any team. I think they're a really strong team. I'm really excited we got to play them. Especially tonight, and it was casted. So, props to them, and thanks to Ed. We love Ed. Ed is our supporter and our sub. So, if you're watching, hi Ed.
Patience, do you have any shout-outs you want to give out?
Well, thanks to both teams for giving us a wonderful match to cast, and of course you for having me as a co-caster,
Aw.
and NGS for again hosting a wonderful amateur competitive scene for a lot of players, and we appreciate all the hard work that you guys put into it. And I think Lily might have left, but I'm gonna remember to give a shout out to Lily before I go today.
Oh, that's why we did at the beginning, while we knew she was here. I know she was having issues with it buffering and stuff. But anyways, so if you didn't know, Butte Holiday also casts from time to time and has her own little stream. So feel free to go check her out sometime.
No.
It's twitch.tv/Butte Holiday, isn't it?
I think it's Beautiful Holiday, actually.
Beautiful Holiday. Look, she even learned to spell between her starting HOTS and
oh my gosh. Twitch. Listen, I don't even know my own Twitch handle. Leave me alone, okay?
I don't even stream on my own Twitch handle, so there's that. Shout out to both teams for such an exciting series. Shout out to NGS, of course, for hosting it all. And as always, we will see you next time in the Nexus.